Suda51 has made some crazy and fun games in the past. While I haven't played all of their games, I was a huge fan of the No More Heroes series and enjoyed Shadows of the Damned a bit. But is their latest outing, Killer is Dead, worthy to be up there with its predecessors? Well, there's only one way to find out.
This game was developed by Grasshopper Manufacture and was published by Exceed Games in North America. Fans of this developer should be pleased with the fact that this game is batshit insane like Grasshopper's previous titles. You play as an assassin named Mondo Zach, who works for the government. Mondo is tasked with killing dangerous criminals and assassins from around the globe. This game is pretty episodic, with only a few missions to have anything to do with the main plot. And I have no problem with episodic games, but the plot is very confusing, and it doesn't even attempt to tie things together in the end.
If you go that route, we'll get tons of complaints from the gamers.
With that said, I liked all the characters in the game, with the exception of Mika.
Huh? I was afraid of that. I'm a loser.
Mondo ended up being a pretty likable protagonist, and David ended up being a pretty good villain. I will say that the combat system is well done, with battles being fast-paced, and the hack and slash mechanics work pretty well. Mondo has a mechanical arm that can be converted into sub-weapons that you can upgrade. That is, if you have the game's currency, which is moon crystals. Mondo has a simple bullet, a freezing bullet, a charge shot, and a large drill at his disposal. I personally only found myself using the sub-weapons when needed, or in some cases to get a certain wave done quickly. Mondo also has a blood meter, where he can pull off instant kills. And when you are at the end of a boss fight, when they're weakened, you'll be able to pull off the finishing blow. The blood gauge is also needed for your sub-weapons to work. You also have a dodge burst, by dodging right before an enemy hits you, allowing you to temporarily slow time, and counterattack with a flurry of sword strikes. Or a just guard, by executing a well-timed guard, which stuns your attacker by the end of it. It feels very satisfying slicing up your foes into tiny little pieces, and it never gets old. By defeating enemies, you earn a type of experience points, which can be used on the status and upgrade screen to purchase new moves or enhance on existing ones. Unfortunately though, while this game has its hits, it also has its misses. A lock-on system would have helped this game a bit, because when I would try to execute an instant kill, no matter how much I've been pounding the shit out of one enemy, Mondo would still charge to the other side of the stage and kill another enemy. And due to some of the upgrades, the game started to feel pretty easy near the end. And by the end of the second playthrough, I didn't once get killed. With that said, the minigame here I should talk about is the Gigolo missions. The name is pretty self-explanatory. You have the objective to romance a woman by filling up your guts gauge by staring at her tits while she's not looking. Try doing that in real life and see what happens. And by doing so, you can give her a gift, and depending on how she likes it, your heart meter goes up. And once it goes all the way up, you win her heart. And a sex scene. They're not terrible, and they were pretty entertaining at first, but they get kind of old fast. But I do recommend doing it at least once, just to get a couple of sub-weapons. One thing I've noticed is the fact that this game has moments of screen tearing. And there are no combo moves to speak of in this game, unlike in other games such as Bayonetta or Devil May Cry, which would have helped have a little more variety in its combat. One thing that really grinds my gears is the fact that near the end of the game, you have to repeat a previous stage and boss fight, and the AI can be pretty retarded. One thing I will say is that this game, like other Suda51 games, looks beautiful. The cel shading and the textures of the backgrounds just looks pretty damn good. The music was composed by Akira Yamamoto, who is known from Silent Hill fame, and it's pretty hit and miss here. Some tracks really get you pumped, and some are just eh, but when I finished the game, I found myself headbanging to the ending credits song.
Once you're in, you're never out. Like make it sound so good, too small to really loud. Some things you just can't see, but maybe.
Is this game as good as the No More Heroes games? Absolutely not. But it's not a terrible game in any right. But it's got some problems that keeps it from being a great hit with some people.
Would I recommend Killer is Dead? I'd say rent it first before you decide you want to have it in your collection. Or do what I did and find a sale for this game just to get it on the cheap side. There are definitely better hack and slash games out there, like the Devil May Cry series. Well, maybe except for the second game and that god-awful reboot, Bayonetta, or Metal Gear Rising. And that's why I give Killer is Dead a 7 out of 10.
What's good? I am an enemy.
And now, I got a job to do.